We have got a Samsung phone, so if you can identify it, you can pick that up over at the MX Sports office as well. So please pick up all packages, and if you're missing a phone, we probably have it.
All right, anybody that is looking for those items, please head to the office. But for that announcement, as we are off and running with our Junior 25 Plus Moto 2, Kyle Gill is on the gas out of Boise, Idaho. Grabs that hole shot. He is just ahead of the 42 of Heath Harrison, our Moto 1 winner, who is going through the commandments and trying to make that pass into the lead. It looks like he got it done.
Yeah, that is bad news for the rest of the field, seeing Heath Harrison move into that #1 spot right now. I saw Jacob Hayes, another one of the front runners in Moto 1, now sitting in about the 4th, 5th place spot or so on the Kawasaki, running that blue and yellow Thor gear. So be able to look out for the number 90 as well.
But we know as Harrison, he gets out front, man. He is going to be tough to catch like he was in that first moto, got away. And it looks like he's trying to do it again. And in these conditions as well, that clear space helps a lot.
Absolutely. Last year we saw Heath Harrison. He was the whole shot master, if you will. Oh, one rider going down, coming into Storyland. Wasn't quite credited with the whole shot, but he was maybe 2nd or 3rd, and now puts himself up front early. We know he's quick and able to get away, as he's already probably opened up a little over a second just before they make it through the Rocky Mountain sand section. So Heath Harrison on that Phoenix Racing Honda looking good as he makes his way through the middle of the track for the first time. Scrubs it off, not skying out these jumps. These guys taking, they saw what happened to Brownie. They said if it can happen to Brownie, it can happen to me. I'm not sending it unless I have to.
Absolutely, and it looks like Lance Vincent on the 14 was able to get around Gills into the 2 spot. So Vincent, he's trying to keep pace with Harrison and not let Harrison sneak away with this early lead. Kyle Gills already under attack now for 3rd as well, so he's got the whole shot but already lost that 3rd position as we cross the line at the end of the first lap. Ben Nelko on the 71 Kawasaki has moved into that position, and we're already starting to see a few more riders close up on Gills as it looks like he even wiped the goggles, maybe going by that wall of fame.
Yeah, not sure what exactly that was there. We find Carlos Belaldi there in the final spot in the top 5. Jacob Hayes sitting 6th. Tyler Scrotus in the 7th spot. Luke Vollinger in 8th. Ben LeMay, that's another one worth noting, in the 9th place spot. And a good friend of mine, the number 16, David Lamb Jr., holding down that final spot in the top 10. A good start for the number 16 as well.
Yeah, LeMay was 4th in our first moto, so he's got a little bit of work to do, as does Jacob Hayes as well. Like you said, Hayes was strong. He finished 2nd in that first moto. So now Hayes is going to try to go to work. He's up the inside of the commandments. He's gotten around Gills. He's working on that 48 ride of Battiali as he tries to get to the inside after the commandments. He's going to just get his nose there and make that pass down the inside, moves his way up to 4th, and he's going to set sail after that 71 Kawasaki of Nelko ahead of him as they head out to Storyland.
Yeah, we talked about it in some of the younger races, but Ben Nelko been running the GNCC series here in 2023, run some of those mud motos, and he has got it running up front right now on the 71 Kawasaki, sitting in that 3rd place spot.
Absolutely. Always pays to have a little bit of extra expertise going through those long, deep ruts in the woods when you're racing a GNCC. After the rain came down here earlier today, seen a rider going through the commandments with about 900 feet of roll-offs, is what I think Kevin Kelly said.
Yep, that's Joey Olson on the number 89 machine, currently sitting in the 31st spot. Looks like he's going to have a long moto in front of him as the roll-offs have already come undone. Looking like a little streamer behind him as he makes his way through the commandments. There is the number 90 of Jacob Hayes on the Kawasaki. We expected big things out of Hayes, and he is now closing up on the backside of Nelko. So not sure whether Nelko was passed by Gills or whether or not both Hayes and Nelko was able to get it. Oh, there goes Hayes, going to try to make the move around the Polysport pond.
Yeah, I think they're actually both catching our 2nd place rider, Lance Vincent, there on the Husqvarna. So we got 2 Kawasaki's battling it out for the 3 spot right now. And Hayes made quick work getting around Gills, and he kind of dropped that group behind him, quickly caught this next group. We'll get a sign of our lap times here at the end of our first full lap of this race and see. Yeah, Jacob Hayes checking in at a 2:07, but our leader, Heath Harrison, 2:04. He is moving. Hayes trying to make that outside line work, and he just barely got around the outside of Nelko as we went through the mechanics area. Jacob Hayes up to 3rd.
And, you know, having to give a, not a little rubbing, but just saying I was ready to do it if needed. And looks like, look at this, Nelko not finished either. He says, hey, man, I'm ready to go wheel to wheel. Nelko pulls along the outside, and he's going to try to close in on the inside as they make their way into the 10 Commandments. He's got the tight line, and for a second he pulls in front. We'll see how it ends up. Hayes able to uncork 1 triple, and Nelko triples out. Is he going to leave the brakes off? No. Jacob Hayes slams the door and going to hold down the third place spot in front of Nelco. Oh, one of the legs flying off there for the 71 as well. He's giving it everything.
Well, I'll tell you what, normally when we have two riders battling, they slow each other down. It actually looks like they're pushing each other up to the 14 of Lance Vincent ahead. So we've got a battle for second brewing. Hayes is kind of bringing Nelco with him, but I saw Vincent just make a big bobble into the back through Storyland here. Hayes trying to get to that outside, kind of feed off the pegs like you were saying, man. He is pushing.
Yeah, Kellen, I couldn't have said it any better. These guys are doing whatever they've got to. If the feet have to come off, so be it. As Jacob Hayes makes the move around Vincent. Let's see if Vincent's able to respond. I don't think he is. So the number 90 reaches up and gets some clear vision. Oh, you saw he missed a tear off there. So Hayes having to reach up once again. That allows Vincent to pull alongside. But Hayes is going to gain command of that second place spot up and over the Rocky Mountain.
Yeah, vision a premium right now with these conditions. So you can see, guys, it looks like maybe they're either wiping the goggles or missing a tear off here and there, and they can't quite get it. The gloves are getting a little bit slippery, so they reach up to go and grab that tear off and maybe miss it, maybe slide their hand off and don't get the full pull of it. So Hayes had to do a little double take right there. But now up to second, we're going to get our first real indication of whether Hayes, with a little bit of clean air, not having to pass riders, is able to run some similar lap times to that of our leader, Harrison.
Exactly, and I'm really excited to see what the number 90 is able to do. He's got some clean track in front of him. I'm sure he's going to be paying attention, looking around, seeing if he can catch a glimpse of the number 42 of Harrison. Like I said, both of these riders training in North Carolina, oftentimes seeing each other on Thursday nights at the local track. So this is just like a race at home here for Hayes and Harrison. And yeah, Jackson actually brought up a good point. Nelco, he had an injury in the GNCC series. That's why we saw him left the series in the middle of the year, coming back to that, switching over to the Kawasaki. And good to see Nelco having a solid ride, still shown in that fourth place spot.
Yeah, it seems a little bit like another one of our riders out here, Gavin Towers, had an injury coming into this weekend, and Nelco's kind of pulling it back and looking real strong, kind of mixing it up with this front group. It looks like he's lost a little bit of touch now with trying to close up on Lance Vincent, and instead might have to pay attention soon to the 48 of Carlos Badiali, who's closing up on him from fifth. So got a little bit of a battle brewing just behind what you're looking at on the camera right here, but still you can see that Vincent, he is trying to keep his eyes focused forward on Hayes and maybe not slip back into that battle going on with Nelco and Badiali behind him.
Yeah, and that's such a tough thing to do. We talk about it, Vincent trying to focus forward, as now we see him get off balance. That's going to allow, once again, the 71 of Nelco creep up behind him. Looks like Nelco is bringing some company along with him. I think that's the 48 of Carlos Badiali trying to get into the mix as well. And here we go. I think this is the same spot Hayes was able to make the pass, as we flip to Jacob Hayes on the screen, coming through the Rocky Mountain sand section.
Yeah, Hayes has definitely opened up that gap now on Vincent, so Vincent has fully slipped into the clutches of Ben Nelco for that 3 spot. Nelco made a little bit of a bobble, just saw out of the corner of my eye as we were coming out of Storyland. He landed on an inside rut a little bit sideways, kind of had to almost come to a complete stop, so it gave a little bit of an advantage back to Lance Vincent in that 3 spot. So now we're seeing those gaps really establishing. Harrison, a 12-second lead over Hayes. Hayes putting that gap on our battle to third place. And we'll see if that final podium position changes here in these final 6 minutes.
And as we wait to see what the lap time is on Jacob Hayes here, I'm curious whether or not he was able to catch a glimpse of that red front fender. Harrison was going across the finish line right as Hayes was kind of peaking the apex of that Thor sand sweeper. So if he's able to catch a glimpse, he's going to be able to start marking the number 42, find out whether or not he's picking up the pace at all or whether he's losing time to Harrison. So also worth mentioning, we're going to start getting into thicker and thicker lap riders. We saw Brownie lap all the way up to 8th place. So who knows how long or how deep in the field Heath Harrison's going to be able to go.
And on the flip side of that, if you're Harrison, you might have already gotten a glimpse of Hayes and see how close he is to you. You can start marking him in the opposite direction and trying to manage this race a little bit. You got a 13-second lead. These conditions are rough. You don't want to push the track too hard. So maybe go a second a lap slower, 2 seconds a lap slower, because you know you have that advantage in hand, and you can see then where Hayes is catching you and gaining time.
It's such a good point. We talk about how smart these riders are. They're intuitive. They're able to almost have instinct where the other riders are around the track, and a lot of them really pay close attention to it. They want to be able to see where the competition's at. So a great point. Heath Harrison might be doing a little checking back to find out how much he needs to manage, and Jacob Hayes obviously looking forward. His equation, pretty simple. Leave the thing wide open. You got to catch up to the back of the Honda. And so if you're having to catch a glimpse of him in a different section, you're not quite close enough yet. So the number 90 still digging, trying to catch up to the 42.
Absolutely. We're watching the 14 of Vincent right here. He's trying to work through some of that lap traffic. always tough to do when these long, deep ruts are the only way through these corners back in Storyland. So I even see Nelko maybe just got held up a little bit right there in the 4 spot as Vincent comes out of Storyland still in 3rd. And Nelko is still dealing with that pressure from behind. I think maybe Battioli on the Yamaha may have just pulled up alongside of him and tried to make that pass as they go through that back sand straightaway. Nelko, I think, is fighting back as they're coming to the Rocky Mountain. Yeah, looks like Battioli did get that pass done.
Nelko was trying to close back over to the left-hand side, but Battioli said, nope, I'm sorry, I'm already there. This spot is mine. And things starting to happen quick for Nelko. He's going to have to regroup, push forward, as number 71's also got some company behind him and trying to get a number on that.
I think that's the 29 of Jeff Luke, who they have a lap down.
Okay, all right, so that may be a lap right. It's honestly so hard to tell. In some of these spots, you even see your leaders having to slow down significantly, sometimes take a foot off the peg, doing whatever it has to do. And look at this, Kellen. Heath Harrison, a 209.3. Now Jacob Hayes with some clean track, a 209.9. So almost exactly the same lap time. But that's not quite close enough if you're Jacob Hayes. You're going to have a better lap time than Heath Harrison to catch up.
You're absolutely right. And kind of back to the point as we were talking about with these guys working through lap traffic, if you're Nelko, you peek back behind you, you might not know that that is a lapped rider because all you see is mud on their front number plate, mud on their helmet. It could be someone that you've been roosting this entire moto in a battle, or it could be someone that you just put a lap down.
And I'm telling you what, if he doesn't know, I can tell him right now, it is 2 guys you don't want to see. Luke Vollinger and Ben LeMay behind you. Both riders already picked up 2 spots. They are creeping their way inside the top 10, knocking on a top 5. And looking out here, is that Nelko? Nelko down on the entrance of the 10 Commandments. I saw it just outside the window and got hung up for a second in that thick mud. Kevin Wyndham talked about it earlier, Kellen. This stuff's going to start thickening up. It's going to start holding on to you almost like the soil doesn't want to let you go here at the ranch.
Yeah, well, he lost that position to Vonlinger, like you said, and now he's going to have an earful from Ben LeMay before long. And we also have the 27 ride down right here. So the 27 machine hitting the deck, trying to get a look. That's John Moeller down there in the 37 spot. Tough break for him. Back to our leader, though, Heath Harrison. And it does look like he's been able to maintain that gap, as you said, lap times similar to that of Jacob Hayes, both in the 209s. And he's going to get the white flag this time by. Just peeked out, saw the 2-lap card is already out. So white flag coming up pretty quick here for our race leader, Heath Harrison.
So 1 lap to go here coming up for the Phoenix Racing Honda of Heath Harrison. And I know we've talked about this before. This is not a full-time rider. I've seen Heath at the GNCCs as well, but he's not riding. He's working with that Phoenix Racing Honda team, and he said on the podium in Moto 1, you know, he really appreciates the team letting him sneak off from time to time, put in some motos, and what better way to repay than getting out front early and trying to bring this thing home for a win.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, even our second place rider there, Jacob Hayes, you know, he's always out there working with Lucas Myrtle and all those people there with Jet Lawrence and the Lawrence brothers and stuff like that. I see Hayes at the races every weekend at the Pro Nationals and stuff, and then he comes out here and races all week long at Loretta's, and so far looking at maybe 2 second places in this junior 25 plus class. So we got a couple guys that are the working men, the working class people, putting it to them out here in junior 25 plus.
Absolutely, without a doubt, and it goes to show they've been training with the pro riders as well. The Phoenix Honda crew, great there. Obviously, Jet Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence and the entire Lucas Myrtle crew there, they've got things figured out as well. So some great company from those riders. But yeah, usually guys we see behind the scenes getting their share of the spotlight out here, and it's well deserved as Heath Harrison tries to work his way to this checkered flag, getting ready to head off into Storyland. About half a lap left or so here in this second junior 25 plus.
Well, I tell you, track looked really good after they did all that work to it after that long rain delay, but now we're starting to see some of those long lines that we saw in the first 2 days of racing really getting dug out. All these corners have super long ruts and many options, but as we've talked about all week long, they're not all good options. They can really bite you in a hurry if you get caught in one bad one.
Absolutely, without a doubt, and it's it develops as well. This track's starting to dry out. We're starting to see some spots that look like real dry soil out there, and so as this track starts to change, the line choices may change as well. But I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of changing going on for the number 42 right now, as he has got something figured out, getting ready to come through the center of the track for the final time up and over these jumps.
Yeah, one more time through the Polysport Pond and the Thor Sand Sweeper for Heath Harrison, and he's looking at 2 moto victories to start his week off in junior 25 plus. Oh, what a good ride this is, and he's going to take us through this last corner. Here it is, folks, your winner, Moto 2 Junior 25 plus, Heath Harrison.
And a little fist pump there, handling business, grabs the tear off and got the job done. Heath Harrison grabbing that second moto win. We wait to see what should be the number 90 of Jacob Hayes. There it is, the blue and yellow Thor gear crosses the line, and the number 90 going to grab second place here in this moto. We wait to see whether or not the 48 is going to round out your podium.
I like the tear off after the moto ends, right? You get that clear vision, you get to roll up onto the podium and see just all those nice fans.
I like
ready
the
to cheer you
attitude.
on.
The attitude. You can always tell how they feel because they do the nice slow pull, like, yeah, I just handled business. Or you got the angry guy that just, get rid of that. That was the problem the whole time. If I could have just pulled that tear off.
Hey, Zach, we talk about stuff going on and off the track around here. As you know, just a little bit behind schedule here this evening. What we've got going on tonight, Richard Todd and the Dream Chasers Foundation, they've got a recovery meeting tonight at 7:30, and that's going to be at Loretta Lynn's Museum. So if you guys are out of town, away from maybe your local foundation, away from maybe your local organization, it's a great opportunity to go get just go get some quality time with the foundation. You know what I mean? Need some help, need some encouragement. Richard's the guy to see. I tell you, talking to that guy for 2 to 3 minutes, you feel better about yourself already. So Richard Todd and the Dream Chasers Foundation, they're going to have a recovery meeting at 7:30, and it is going to take place at Loretta Lynn's Museum. And I encourage any of you people, like I said, that might be away from your local club, might be away from your local support group, whatever. Richard's a great guy, and the Dream Chasers Foundation are the people to see tonight at 7:30.
Thanks, Mego. Down to the podium. I'm calling this guy the Heartbreaker. This is the class that so many guys circle. I'm going to come back. This is the one I'm going to get. He's making it tough on him. Gold medal for Heath Harrison. I've been asking a lot of guys. It's not super muddy now, but certainly enough where things can go bad. Were you worried at all, like going into this moto, like, man, I got to be consistent?
Not worried, but knew I had to be consistent. I honestly was wishing we would have raced a little bit earlier in the rain because I'm a pretty good mud rider. And dude, the track right now I think is more technical than it was yesterday. So even at 5:30 yesterday afternoon, I think right now has it beat. It's not as rough, but more ruts and a little bit more slot car-ish. So yeah, the track's rough, man. It's technical.
God, you got to be pumped at how this is going these last couple visits down here.
Yeah, it feels great, and I just want to give this win up to Uncle Dave and Tracy. Their aunt passed away a couple days ago, and this one's for them. So if they're watching, we're praying for you guys. And Uncle Dave had to leave and go home and be with them. So this one's for those guys.
That's cool. Doing it for the family. You got some other people you want to thank here with your Phoenix Racing crew?
Yeah, the whole Phoenix Racing Honda team. They're an amazing team, amazing group of guys that I get to work with and pretty much live with. So yeah, all those guys for allowing me and helping me come do this. And Honda, Arma, ODI, 60 helmets, FMF, Vision, FMF. Exhaust, Pirelli tires, W wheels, P3, Ride Engineering, Enzo suspension, just everybody that makes this possible. Thank you. My whole family and my wife and our little girl.
All right, let's hear for Heath Harrison with the gold. We'll bring up the runner-up, trying to keep himself in contention. You never know how these weeks are going to go, so consistency pays off. Welcome him back to the ranch. For the silver, Jacob Hayes. So what's the overall experience been like coming back? Been a little while since you raced here. What's it been like?
It's good. It was nice to see a little bit of rain. I've been here the past 5 years just watching, and it's just been too perfect.
Yeah.
I spent my my whole amateur career here and a lot on the stake, and it was nice to see some rain. Like,
makes Loretta's.
Yeah, it makes the track challenging, and that's what it was right there. It's a dogfight every moto, and that's all why the family and friends and riders come out is to enjoy the event.
Yep. How did you end up in second? How'd that one go for you?
Man, just I can't get my butt off the gate. I just I don't know. I gotta figure it out. I don't know what to tell you, Weech.
That's the bottom line. Okay, let these bikes go by, and then we'll let you thank some people. More people taking sight laps than not now. Who do you want to thank, Jacob Hayes?
My wife, my family, her family, Thor, 100% Dave, Mario at Kawasaki, Ryan, everyone, Dave. All those guys are great to me. Up on Stars, Dunlop Tires, Renthal, Pro Circuit, just the local crew. That's what we do it for.
Okay, that's awesome. Let's hear it for Jacob Hayes with the silver. And we'll bring up Mr. Badali taking third. Let's bring up our third place finisher at the bronze here. Oh, we got the translator again. I like it. Okay. Okay, Carlos Barriale taking third. Another podium, another Moto medal. So just ask how the Moto went. How'd it go?
¿Cómo te fue? Yeah, the track was not easy at all. He could do whatever he could, and then yeah, let's get more podiums on this Loretta.
Yep, that's awesome. Who do you want to thank?
He's gonna take.
Oh, you got it.
Gracias a toda mi gente de Venezuela, a toda la gente que están aquí, a Yamaha, Benemoto, Motor Shop Center, Somos Cuadros, de verdad todos, Pac-Man, Planeta, Páramo Café, de verdad que gracias a todos por ayudarme a estar aquí. Gracias.
Thank you. That's great. All right, that's really fun. This class, all the different characters we have here, including Kyle Gills, who I want to give a whole shot award to. Hey. Yeah, that got a pop. Hi, Kyle. Good to see you again. How'd you pull that one? It's a class of guys who know how to get starts.
Dr. Honda, Mr. Chris Hymas built my Gas 350. I was a little worried about the mud in a 350, but he had that thing running with the Pirelli Scoot, man. It was a combination for a whole shot.
All right, he's still wearing the Honda shirt, but he hooked up your bike as well. Who else do you want to thank?
That's what happens when you own a dealership. So the man above for keeping me safe, Pocatello Power Sports, Western Power Sports, Fly Racing, Scott Goggles, Alpine Stars, Firepower Parts. I got a whole slew of family and friends here, as well as back home watching. So glad we could get up on the box. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, good job, Kyle. All right, it's Kyle Gills. You earned that. Good to see you. That's